Hey guys, this is CTF Nightlife, and I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough. It's obviously a capture the flag map, symmetrical mapping across blue and red bases, which are actually elevated, and then there's a sewer system underneath, which we'll get to later. And if you notice, in the spawn, there aren't any resupplies, and that is to encourage forward holding, and I will show you a little bit about that later. So when the map starts out, there's a 10-second setup time, and we just drop in through here. And you notice there are some very odd things happening at the very first thing you drop into, and that is that there's a switchboard over there, green and red lights, although only there's red right there. And then the color of the base for the blue team, so it's blue over here. On the red side, it'll be red, a red sprite there. And this is a special condition to help a team get victory. Okay, so there's a trigger in both bases, and when one team wants to gain an advantage over the other team, what they do is they climb up into the second level, and as you can see, we're in the second level right now, of the fort for each team. Each team has a fort. They climb up, and then they run through the sprite for the enemy team. What that does is that unlocks doors in the sewer network that I'll show you later that give one team an advantage by about a minute and a half to get to the other team's flag. This is obviously very difficult to get through. It's a high-risk, high-reward trigger, and it's open. It leaves the door open for 3 minutes, but it's obviously very hard to get here. It's right under the spawn, and people just drop down. So anyway, once a player drops down, they run down, or go out the window, of course, and here is the sewer. Obviously, health and ammo pickups, water everywhere, and over here is the flag. This is the door I'm talking about that leads to the other team's base, excuse me. It's the opening, and then there's a team-sensitive trigger. So obviously, this door I just walked through, red couldn't get to, or couldn't go through because it wouldn't activate. And then they're out in the sewer network here. Now, coming out of this door, if we'd activated the other team's trigger to open up their sewer door to get to their flag quicker, this would be open, and obviously we could never ever get through there because it's the team-sensitive trigger. Okay, coming out of the sewer, still on the blue side of the base, there are 3 ways of getting overland, getting to the other team's flag. So there's the caves, the radio tower room, so satellite uplink, I guess is what we'll call that. And then over here, there is a longer sniping path trench area. So we'll start with the trench. The trench obviously hides the player from enemy fire. It's not perfect. And they run through, come up, and they're a lot closer. Or they can run by the regen locker over here. This is open for both teams, and this is forward holding. So the intention here is to get a team to set up a base with either sentries or heavies in this area and protect it so that they're much closer to the enemy. Alright, so coming back over from the trench, we'll go through the cave network next. The cave is obviously very close quarters. There's 2 ways around. It's a donut in the middle and then just 1 exit for blue and 1 exit for red. The danger here is that it is the easiest to defend for both sides, but it is an incredibly short access route, and so players will want to get through here and at least secure it as best as possible. Alright, so going into the satellite uplink room, you notice it's a good mix of close quarters, and there's enough sight lines that even snipers could set up in here, heavies could set up in here just fine. This is obviously where the other resupply area is. It works just the same as the other side. It's to encourage players to push forward, and even players that are on defense, whether they're engineers, demo men, whatever, they are still attacking the other player by trying to gain neutral ground and hold it for their team. So I'm going to give you a real quick demonstration of how the triggers work in the game, of the sewer triggers. So I'm blue team running up towards the red base, going right underneath their spawn, but I've managed to run through the trigger. Now actually, before I run down, I want to show you the switchboard activates to show that one of the doors is open, and this will activate the switchboard on this side as well as on the other side. So it lets players know when they spawn, if they somehow miss the audio count, that something is going on. The door is open, run through the flag, and then even if your own door's not open, there's a team-sensitive trigger. So here's the team-sensitive trigger door. Obviously it's going to stay open for a minute or 2. You want to get in there as quick as possible and capture. Obviously a huge advantage. Hope you enjoyed the walkthrough of the map.